This video is almost a before and after video of starting a new urban dog that's worked primarily rural environments into a contaminated, heavily active area. We're using a shopping mall for this training session, and what we're attempting to do is to start the dog in an area that's a little less in contamination, a little less in activity, and into a place that's quite a bit busier. So we're working on the fringe of a shopping mall, moving ourselves in. You'll see that the dog picks up the trail here from time to time, but then abandons it. You have to understand why the dog is abandoning it. It's not because it's weak, it's not that it doesn't exist, it's because of everything else that's going on in the area. There's a lot of activity with vehicles, people, lots of other scents and smells, and it's primarily the distractions that we're dealing with. So the key to training here is to expose the dog to this type of distraction in a little bit more tiered manner. So what we're going to do is we're going to step back, spend some time in a little bit easier location with less distraction, and then come back at this same trail later, as a matter of fact, the next day. Okay, we're bringing Axel back the next day after a full day of exposure training to different types of environmental conditions and to distractions, helping the handler work through those distractions and get his dog a little bit more motivated. And what you're going to see here is a completely different dog on the exact same trail, exact same type of environment, but in all actuality the conditions are rougher. We've got really a heavy wind, it's quite a bit drier. The moisture that we had from the earlier rain on the day before just doesn't exist anymore. It looks like the dog's having trouble here, but notice that the body language is completely different. The dog is in odor. And look at this. You can see he's working really good odor right here. It's pooling behind the scent article, which is in a jar, onto the grass and then onto the road. The dog really is concentrating all his energy in this area. Good, strong human odor here in that small depression with the gravel. You're going to see a lot of activity on the grass. The dog doesn't really want to abandon this because it's a huge amount of odor. It's good, fresh, strong odor of the subject it's looking for. And it's relative to that scent article, the scent in that jar. You can see the dog picks up the trail right here. And as he starts moving along, the handler tries to stay back and lets him have all the lead. We're getting a little bit of a repeat of the activity that we saw the day before. The dog's a little nervous, looking around. It's not that he's fearful, it's just that there's a lot of things going on here that he's never worked before. So the handler's motivating and trying to encourage him to get back on the trail. And now you see it, he's picking up at it very nicely. Contamination increases the closer we get to the shopping center. There's going to be more people, there's going to be more things, and definitely a lot more odor. We're building the missile lock in the dog from a distance outside and working into the more contaminated area. Notice how the dog just stumbled off the curb there. He was so focused on odor that he wasn't aware of his surroundings and literally fell off the curb a little bit. That's a good indication that the dog's working odor nicely. The dog speeds up primarily due to windblown odor. He's got some proximity alert to the subject that's going to be out ahead of him. That's why he's speeding up so dramatically. Really, the primary component to good urban trailing is what I call three-tone missile lock. In other words, the dog is so focused and locked on to just one particular odor that everything else is ignored. And that's what we're trying to develop in this dog by starting on a fringe and moving into more contamination. More contamination being the front of this Sears shopping center. The dog's not really focused on anything else but just the person. You can see how it's working. There's a really good air scent right there. The dog knows he's close. I think we need to understand that all good trailing dogs have the capability to do this, to work in an urban environment and do it smoothly and efficiently. The problem isn't so much the scent trail as it is the distractions in the area. We have to focus on having the dog be able to work through those cleanly before we can get a really good trail. This next video is the exact same trail we just got done running, but from the perspective of the trail layer with a zoom video camera. He's working on 75 optical zoom at this point. It actually can give you a better view of what the dog's doing. I really like this perspective from the trail layer. It's almost from the outside looking in. It shows how hard the dog is working this one particular odor. You can see him actively focusing on one area, and it's relative to the wind and the scent article and also a scent pool. It also shows how patient the handler's being in allowing his dog to do this. Many times handlers get into a rush. They want to get out of the area, they anticipate the direction that the trail might go, or they may even know, and in that knowing, they want to get out of the area as quickly as possible. So a lot of times they're going to push the dog right off the start of the trail when the dog really hadn't quite figured it out yet. Sometimes they pick it up again, but oftentimes they just don't. In this situation, the handler's doing a great job of just allowing his dog to do all the work. Right now the dog's trying to air scent the subject. Of course that would be the easiest way to get in, and he knows it. Dogs are great cheaters and they're always going to take the easiest path to the source if possible. But the only path he has at this point is the trail. Don't let the video deceive you. This is a 75 times zoom, so he's filming from quite a distance. The part coming up is really important. Watch how the dog stumbles off the curb. He does this because he's focused on odor. If the dog wasn't focused on odor, on something else, stumbling off the curb probably would not have happened, because dogs are very aware of their physical surroundings, and they often know how to negotiate them extremely well.
I lost him.
The neat thing about this trail was it was the beginning of really, really good contaminated work for this dog going forward. We went over the hump. We got past the distractions. Now we're into a situation where the dog's able to work through contamination.
Yeah, good boy. Awesome job. Very good.